here's another inspirational story for the healer's heart. Well, nurses are always on duty, even when we don't punch the time clock. So the story is told of a nurse who was at a restaurant, and it was one of those fun restaurants where every Friday night they would have an Italian opera singer come just to kind of increase the ambiance of this Italian restaurant. Well, she was sitting in one of the back far round tables, and she began to see out of the corner of her eye someone doing this kind of a motion, and she thought, oh, the Italian singer must be here because he's starting to now sing his bravado and whatever he sings, right? Anyway, and then suddenly what she anticipated as beautiful melodious music turned into a scream. And the wife of this man said, is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? Because her husband was choking on his dinner. Well, of course, everyone nervously looks around waiting for that heroic doctor to show up. Well, this nurse said, well, there may not be a doctor, but there's a super nurse. And so, like as in slow motion, but she was moving fast. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Here comes that nurse racing down through all of the different tables and gets to the patient. And of course, it's a patient in her mind, this gentleman, and she wraps her hands around him, and he was big. Now, of course, like any fish story, it's like he's taller with every time we retell this story and bigger, but he was a pretty big guy. He was probably 6'3" and weighed a good 250 pounds or so, right? She's thinking, I hope I can get my arms around him. Well, adrenaline has a way to fix those little details. She gets barely all the way around and then can clasp his hands, and then with an abdominal thrust, out comes that little bit of a dinner that didn't quite make its way down the right tube. Well, of course, everybody around is cheering because now he can breathe again, and true to a nurse's heart, she just silently made sure he's okay, you okay, everybody's okay, and silently went back to her seat and ate her dinner. And of course, just as heroic as she started the event, as heroic she did it almost as an unseen, unrecognized hero. The manager came looking around, you know, who saved this guy's life, and ready to comp her a dinner. But of course, she was quiet and didn't take up on that, because that's not necessarily always what nurses are doing things for. We're doing it because we have a heart, and that's just the way we are. That's the way you are, because you're a nurse and you're working in this amazing environment right now and serving others, even without recognition or a comped dinner. So thank you for being a nurse at this time and for having the heart of a hero. So happy healing and have a great week.